Hey Vikings, my name is Kayla Lopez and I'm the Financial Aid Outreach Coordinator at Del Mar College. If you have not yet created an FSA ID and password for yourself, please click the link on the bottom of the page to create one before you get started with the application. As a reminder, you will need your own FSA ID and password, and at least one parent in your household will need an FSA ID and password for themselves in order to complete this application. Now that you have your ID created, let's get started. Alright guys, so this is the home page for the FAFSA application. So what we are going to do is click Start Here. You are then going to select I am a student and want to access the FAFSA form and log in to continue. So here is where you are going to log in with your FSA ID and password and log in. So now that you are logged in, we are going to be completing the 2023-2024 FAFSA application. Now I'm going to create a save key that is 4 to 8 letters or numbers and make my save key and click continue. Here it is giving you an overview of everything that the FAFSA is going to entail. So we will go ahead and click continue so that we can get started. So you guys will see that a lot of your information is already inserted into the application, and that is because it is linked to your FSA ID. So go ahead and make sure that all this information is correct and click continue. And your information may already pop up and your mailing address is complete. I will click continue. Have you lived in Texas for at least 5 years? Are you a US citizen? It does give the options of yes, I'm a US citizen, no, but I am an eligible non-citizen, or no, I am not a citizen or eligible non-citizen. If you are an eligible non-citizen and you selected answer, it is going to ask for your alien registration number. And then if you are not a citizen or an eligible non-citizen, you probably are not going to be able to complete the FAFSA application, but I do encourage you to check with the financial aid office so that we can let you know if there is any other options for you. It's just so that we can explore all the different avenues to help you pay for college. Again, I am going to put yes, I am a US citizen or US national and continue. So this next page is probably where majority of mistakes on the application are made. So we're going to go ahead and do this together. Now I am completing this application as if I am a current high school senior. So first question, what will your high school completion status be when you begin college in the 2023-24 school year? I am going to select high school diploma. Next question, what college degree or certificate will you be working on when you begin the 2023-24 school year? So I'm going to see all of these different options, but I am going to select first bachelor's degree. Even if you are unsure what degree you are going to be seeking, I still definitely encourage you to select first bachelor's degree just in case. If you already know, hey, I'm going for an associate's degree, that is completely fine. I do not want you to say other or undecided, reason being because this could put a hold on your file for some awards. So to be safe, I would say first bachelor's degree or associate's degree would be fine. Will you have your first bachelor's degree before you begin the 2023-24 school year? I'm going to say no. And then what will your college grade level be when you begin the 2023-24 school year? Some of you may have dual credit courses that you have accrued while you were in high school, and that is awesome. This is not going to have any effect on that, but what I want you to do is select never attended college first year. Reason being, there are some financial aid awards that are specifically geared towards first-time students, and this way you're not disqualified from any of those awards simply because there was a mistake in the system where a financial aid office might think that you are a junior or a senior and not eligible for those awards while you're actually a first-time college student. You can always contact the financial aid office later if you want to let them know or make a change to your grade level. But also, when you renew your FAFSA every year, you will be able to update this as you go. Next question, are you interested in being considered for work study? I always encourage students to say yes to this question. Reason being, work study gives you the opportunity to have a part-time job on campus. Saying yes to this question does not mean you for sure have to get a job, that they are going to force you to get a job. Definitely not. All it means is that you may be interested, and this way you have the opportunity to be awarded work study funds if you choose to get that job. So the next question is asking for your driver's license. If you have a driver's license number, you can go ahead and input it now. If you do not, that is completely fine. You will just click continue. So this next question is asking about student foster care and parent education completion. So the first question is, are you a foster youth or were you in the foster care system at any time? I'm going to go ahead and select no. The next question, what is the highest school completed by parent 1? What is the highest school completed by parent 2? So these questions are not going to count against you in any way, but if you are not sure about the highest school completed by your parents, there is a button that says other or unknown. This question is asking about biological parents, so go ahead and answer it as best as you can. We have now moved on to section number 2, and so we are going to now input your high school information. Locate your high school. I am going to use Mary Carroll High School and search. So it is really important to search your high school name instead of just clicking continue. This right here is a great example of why. So in my high school name, I did type out Mary Carroll High School. It did pull up Carroll High School so that I could go ahead and confirm the school and continue. Had I not tried to search for the school and confirmed it, when the FAFSA application was being processed with the Department of Education, it may not have been able to locate which high school I attended. So I do again encourage you, type out your high school, search it, and then go ahead and select it from the drop-down list and confirm it and make sure that you have selected the correct high school name exactly how the FAFSA application has it listed. I'm going to click continue. Now, on the college search, as you can see in the second highlighted area, you can list up to 10 colleges at a time per FAFSA submission. I am going to go ahead and list Del Mar College, search, and you will see down here, go ahead and select it and click continue. Now, at the moment, Del Mar College does not have on-campus housing, so I'm going to go ahead and select off-campus. If you would like to add all of the schools that you are interested in, I do encourage you to do so now. You will just click on Add More Schools. It will bring you back to this screen, and you can list again up to 10 colleges that you would like to send your FAFSA application to. Even if you have not applied to the school, even if you are unsure if you are actually going to apply to the school, I do still encourage you to list them here. There is absolutely no repercussions of you listing a school, sending them your FAFSA, and not actually applying or attending that school. It happens all the time. The only thing that I would ask you to keep in mind is that a financial aid office is not going to process your FAFSA application until you have been accepted to that school. So again, I'm going to give you some time here if you would like to pause the video to add some more schools. I recommend adding at least 2 to 3 different institutions to this list, and then you can go ahead and continue on to the next section. Go ahead and click continue, and we have now moved on to section number 3. So as of today, what is your marital status? I am going to go ahead and select single and continue. The next question, do you now have or will you have children who will receive more than half of their support from you between July 1st, 2023 and June 30th, 2024? I will say no. The next question, do you have dependents other than your children or spouse who live with you and who will receive more than half of their support from you now and through June 30th, 2024? I'm going to select no and continue. Student additional dependency questions. Are you currently serving on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces for purposes other than training? Are you a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces? At any time since you turned age 13, were both your parents deceased? Were you in foster care, or were you a dependent or ward of the court? As determined by a court in your state of legal residence, Are you or were you an emancipated minor? Does someone other than your parent or step-parent have legal guardianship of you as determined by a court in your state of legal residence, or none of the above? I'm going to select none of the above and continue. On or after July 1st, 2022, were you homeless or were you self-supporting and at risk of being homeless? I'm going to select no and continue. Based on the questions that I have just answered, the FAFSA has determined that I am a dependent student and will need to provide parent information. The most common way to become an independent student is to turn age 24. At that time, you will no longer need to provide your parents' information, and the FAFSA application will use only you, the student's information. Until then, you will need to provide your parents' information to have your FAFSA successfully processed, unless you have a special circumstance or situation. If that is the case, you may contact the financial aid office, especially if any of your answers for the previous dependency questions were yes. You may contact our office so that we may help assist with the information or the documentation that we are requesting that you will need to submit to us. Again, I am going to, for this example, say I will provide information about my parents and continue. So we have now moved on to section 4, which is parent demographics. It is going to give you a little insight on all of the different marital statuses and living situations for parents. So we are going to continue so that we may begin. As of today, what is the marital status of your parents? Gives you a couple of different options. There's never married, unmarried and both legal parents living together, married or remarried, divorced or separated, or widowed. I'm going to go ahead and select married or remarried. When did your parents get married? Hopefully you guys know this answer. If not, I would encourage you to contact your parents to get the answer to this question. And if you are not able to do so at the moment, this would be a great time to stop. So you can come over here, click Save FAFSA Form. You will see application was successfully saved, and you can log out at this time and log back in when you are with your parent so that you guys may continue through the application together. If you are not with your parents right now, you are unsure of their information, I do not encourage you to guess. Again, it is completely okay to save where you're at and continue later on when you guys can then work on the rest of this application with the correct information. I'm going to go ahead and click continue to move on to the rest of the parent demographics. So here is where you will enter your parents' social security number. You will put parents' last name. Parent 1, I'm going to start with mom's information. You will put parents' date of birth and parents' email address. And continue. You're now going to move on to parent 2's information and continue. Have your parents lived in Texas for at least 5 years? I'm going to select yes. The next question is how many other dependent children do your parents have? Include the other dependent children of your parents if they will rely on your parents for more than half of their financial support between July 1st, 2023 and June 30th, 2024, or if they can answer no to every dependency status question that was given on this FAFSA form. So if I have 2 siblings that are still living in my parents' household, one of them is in junior high, one of them is in high school, I'm going to list 2. Then I'm going to come down to the next question. How many other dependents do your parents have? Include your parents' other dependents if they now live with your parents, currently receive more than half of their support from your parents, and will continue to receive more than half of their financial support from your parents between July 1st, 2023 and June 30th, 2024. In my example, I am going to list 0, that there is no other dependents aside from my brother and sister, and continue. You will now see that FAFSA has determined your household size to be 5, including yourself, parents, and 2 siblings, and now it is asking for the number in college. Out of the 3 dependents in your parents' household, how many will be college students between July 1st, 2023 and June 30th, 2024? Do not include your parents in this number, but do include yourself and other members of the household. I am the only one in my household that will be in college, so I'm going to list 1. We are now on Section 5, Parent Financials. In this section, we are going to input parents' information for the year 2021. Starting with the first question, for 2021, have your parents completed their IRS income tax return or another tax return? I'm going to say already completed. Now, what type of income tax return did your parents file for 2021? I'm going to select IRS Form 1040. And for 2021, what is your parents' tax filing status according to their tax return? I'm going to select Married Filed Joint Return. Here below, it is going to invite you to use the IRS data retrieval tool to finish inputting the rest of your parents' tax information. It is a highly recommended tool to use. What it does is it automatically links tax information from the IRS website directly to this application, so that the chance of making mistakes is really low, and so that you can go ahead and get inputting the tax information of the parent section a lot faster. If you are interested, go ahead and click Proceed to the IRS. You will then need to list or enter the FSA ID and password for your parent who has created an FSA ID already. I'm going to say that mom already has an ID, and if she had already created an FSA ID and password, she could go ahead and enter it now. If not, you can go ahead and click Create an FSA ID so that at least one parent in your household may create an FSA ID for themselves. For my example, I'm not able to show you the IRS data retrieval tool and how that works. So I'm going to go back to the FAFSA application, skip the data retrieval tool, and complete manually. This is also an option for your parents. If they do not wish to use the data retrieval tool, they can continue on through the parent financial section, following the instructions given here and inputting all of their information from the 1040 tax return. If there is any questions that you have issues with, or that you're unsure of what numbers to put, maybe you just get a little lost, I do encourage you to click on the question mark at the end of the question. What that does is it opens up a pop-up, so make sure that your pop-up blocker is not on, so that you can go ahead and read more information on that question and get assistance on how to answer that question. It has very specific tips here so that you can hopefully continue and get this application complete. All right, we are now on step 6, which is student financials. This section is going to ask just about the student. So first question, for 2021, have you completed your IRS income tax return or another tax return? I'm going to say already completed. What income tax return did you file for 2021? I'm going to say IRS Form 1040. For 2021, what is your tax filing status according to your tax return? And as a student, I filed single. You come down below. It again is going to give you the option to use the IRS data retrieval tool for your tax information. When using the tool, I do encourage you to make sure that all of the information that you are listing, such as the address that you use to file your taxes, is spelled correctly with the same capitalization, the same abbreviations, everything the same as your tax return, because if it is not, there is a chance that it is not going to work. So please keep that in mind. You can have your tax return pulled up or right next to you if you have a paper copy, and then go ahead and enter that information or section so that it can go ahead and link up your tax information. Again, it is encouraged to use the data retrieval tool. So if you would like to select Proceed to the IRS, it will go ahead and take you back to that IRS page so that you can confirm that address and your tax filing information. We are now on step 7. This is the last and final step of the application before you submit. We're going to come down here and see our FAFSA summary. It is going to give you an overview of all of the information you have listed. You can double check, make sure that it is correct. Make sure that you have listed all of the schools that you would like to list and send your FAFSA to. Scroll all the way down and click Continue. Now, before you sign and submit, there is a couple of survey questions that you will be asked. Again, these questions do not affect your aid eligibility at all. Department of Education is looking to make some changes to the FAFSA application in the coming years, and so this survey is just going to help them do that. Once you have completed the survey, you are going to come to the signature page. The first signature page you will see is going to be for you, the student. So I'm going to go ahead, check that off to give my electronic signature, and continue. Once you have signed the student part, it is then going to prompt you to provide parent signatures. So you will click on this blue button and select the parent that has the FSA ID who will be electronically signing your application. For me, it was parent 1, so I'm going to click provide parent signature for parent 1, scroll down, have parent give my electronic signature, and click continue. Now, if parent does not have a social security number and they were not able to create an FSA ID and password, another option to sign and submit is to print the signature page. So you can click other options to sign and submit, click print a signature page. You will go ahead, click this blue button. It will print that page for you. Parent will be able to sign it, mail it back off to the address provided on the signature page, which is the address of Department of Education. It will take about 4 to 8 weeks to process the signature page, and then your application will be complete with both student and parent signatures so that you can continue on with the financial aid process. Now, this is the last step of the FAFSA application. You will now see a congratulations page that says that you have successfully completed the FAFSA application. There is a confirmation email that is sent to the email address that you listed, and it will go ahead and list again the email address that will be sent to, and you are good to go. If you need to provide proof to your high school counselor that you have completed this application, you can go ahead and forward that confirmation email to them. Let them know that you will be forwarding it over. Double check to make sure that it is received, and that way they can mark you down for that Texas high school graduation requirement. Other than that, you guys are done. Again, thank you so much for tuning in and following along with this video. Hopefully it was able to help you out so that you could get your FAFSA application completed with your parent. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact our financial aid office. We do have our contact information showing on the screen now. Remember, a school is not going to process your FAFSA application until you have been accepted to that school. They cannot stress that enough. So get those admissions applications in as early as you can so that you can be awarded some of that first come, first serve financial aid monies as early as possible. On behalf of the Financial Aid Office at Del Mar College, we wish you a great rest of your school year, and we hope to see you here on campus next fall. Thank you, guys.